Dr. Enrique Basque's daughter, Erica, was now a grown woman and a physicist herself. The recent events that unfolded brought notoriety to her father's name. Wanting to reforge his shattered familial bonds with his neglected family, he invited them to the Arrival's location in New York to witness humanity's history unfold before them. Dr. Erica Basque held the opened invitation in her hand with her mother by her side. The invitation requested for them to be present and in the front row for the arrival of the galactic visitors. She looked at the invitation with utter disgust. She wanted nothing to do with him after years of neglecting his family. The pain he caused them was unforgivable, never even once reaching out to mend their family ties, or to even check up on them in their times of struggles. He had committed the unforgivable act of turning his back on his own family, but she wasn't as innocent herself. After university, Dr. Erica Basque's work had delved into deep grey areas that would surely make the science community gasp in horror. Temporal projects that aimed at shooting a human through different dimensions, times and space in search for the next phase of human progression. Her experiments have all ended in failure, for none of her subjects had returned to confirm its success, and some just turned them into what was reported as hideous pale creatures, deprived of their humanity. If her father could only see her now, she thought to herself. She watched from her television in Barcelona, closing the envelope in her hands as the television showed the ship's arrival, the grand spectacle. They broadcasted a message to the world that transcended language barriers. The aliens claimed they had come not as conquerors, but as scientists, entrusted with studying the culture and biology of countless civilizations when they came across our golden record. The world collectively watched as they hovered above New York and announced their plans for harmony. Suddenly, the world grew silent as death and despair rang throughout the planet. Echoing from Earth's every corner, something was wrong. Suddenly, as if a nerve had been struck with a hot iron, the crowd began to scream and panic. Dr. Basque watched the television in awe as chaos erupted. People began to trample each other, clawing their way over each other like rats amidst rising waters, desperate to get away from the floating ship. The military, having pulled away all non-essential personnel from New York City, couldn't take the chance of the visitors having the opportunity to attack first. Taking the preemptive strike, nuclear weapons were launched. In a mere matter of seconds, tens of millions of souls were obliterated. The camera caught the last haunting expression on her father's face as the explosion reduced a bustling city into roaring meadows of fire and black smoke. The camera cut off, but by then Dr. Erica Basque shielded her mother's eyes with her arm, embracing her as she wept uncontrollably. The news broadcasters later reported that those lucky enough to die in the explosion would have only felt the warm embrace of a bright light, and then nothing. Those unlucky to survive, the ones that lived on the outer ring of the city and beyond, had to bear the emotional and physical toll of such a callous decision. The flesh of those close to the bomb laid singed and charcoaled, melting from the bone. Buildings vaporized and splayed shadows on their walls, proof that the city had been bustling and alive only moments ago. An unbelievable massacre laid waste before humanity. On the other hand, the colossal spacecraft remained without detriment, its silver casing immaculate. It hovered ominously in the sky, a foreboding presence casting a shadow over the land. It seemed like an eternity before the craft began to communicate through the grey wisps of smoke. "We are the Negumak," the voice boomed across the world. "This great devastation that lies before you was not our doing, for we come bearing gifts of knowledge to those who wish it. The Negumaks aren't known for war, but for science and knowledge." Drones were sent out from the silver ships to televise their actions. Dr. Basque and her mother looked once more at the television. All eyes watched in wary as a metallic pod descended from the ship. It landed in the heart of what was once New York City. The ground lay in molten waste as flames licked the underbelly of the pod. Slowly, the door opened, revealing a group of beings. They were unlike anything the human eyes had ever seen or would have imagined. Tall and slender, their humanoid bodies shimmered with a metallic sheen. Their eyes glowed with an otherworldly void, and their presence exuded a sense of intellect and power. The Negumaks lankly walked out of the pod, their many arms holding precious artifacts, such as one would do during a peace offering. The world watched in awe, their breath held in anticipation as the Negumacs stopped shuffling forward and raised their hands, palms outstretched. A dazzling display of holographic images materialized before them. Advanced scientific formulas, blueprints for incredible inventions, and the universe's most profound enigmas unfolded in front of them like mere common knowledge to them. The voice boomed once more, resonating through the void city, every soul hooked on what would happen next. We offer you the gift of knowledge, the chance to unravel the greatest mysteries of the universe before you. You can decide for yourselves to join us and embrace the next phase of your species' development. But this gift holds an unprecedented price. Some of you must become patients for what we see fit. As a sign of good faith, we will allow you to ponder on such a difficult choice, and we will await your decision. This ends our communication. The visitors turned around quickly and shuffled back into their pod, where they were transported back to their ship. Dr. Basque gasped. The prospect of unlocking the secrets of the cosmos was tantalizing, but at what cost? Only a few people. How would we go on choosing them? And why didn't they refer to the second sound and the coming visitors? She could feel herself weighing the potential rewards and risks of such a choice. She held her breath in anticipation of the incoming visitors. A few days had passed since the Negumac had arrived and given their enticing offer. At the same time, the second audible sound began growing louder and louder, until the world was laid thick with an uneasy anticipation anew. Suddenly, another spacecraft descended, landing on the outskirts of the once city, close to the Negumacs. This time, a different species emerged, darker, armored and more ominous. Their appearance evoked a primal fear, sending shivers down the spines of those who beheld them, like prey before predator. These were the Mazarecs, and they had an offer of their own. The Mazarecs stepped forward, their eyes burning with a sinister intensity. Their voice echoed with an undeniable aura of power and domination as they also televised their arrival to the whole world. Do not trust these charlatans. They arrive at other planets and offer nothing but enslavement. We, on the other hand, offer you liberty, the opportunity to forge your own path into the cosmos. We offer salvation and security, weapons beyond your wildest dreams, they declared. With these tools of destruction, you can conquer any foe and protect yourselves all the same. But in return, you must allow us to teach some of you in the ways of battle and advanced technology by serving in our military and fighting in our ongoing skirmish against a deadly foe. We trust you'll make the right decision and honor whatever you may decide. Two grand choices lay upon humanity. The temptation was great. Weapons or knowledge that could grant humanity unprecedented power. But the cost, the price of their freedom, loomed ominously in the air. The world was divided. Some saw the Negumac's offer of knowledge as a means to advance humanity and solve its greatest challenges. Others saw the allure of the Mazarek's weapons, believing that with power, they could protect themselves from any threat. Only an unvoiced few refused to give in to a choice between both forms of servitude, such as Dr. Basque and few military generals. Countries splintered, alliances formed, and the human race stood on the precipice of a decision that would shape their destiny. The United Nations convened, fraught with tension and discord. Each nation championed their own interests, blinded by the glimmering prizes before them. As the debate raged on, the armies of Earth prepared for battle where it all began. Many countries and rogue humans had chosen to align themselves with the Negumacs, enticed by the promise of knowledge, while the others decided they shall fight under the banner of the Mazarecs, seduced by the allure of power. The battlefield was set, a bleak landscape marred by destruction and despair. The divided human forces faced each other, eyes filled with determination and conflict. Their primitive inclination towards violence heightened. The battle had commenced. Both armies, fueled by their unwavering allegiances, fought with blind rage. Once the ammunition ran scarce, each side reverted back to their primordial instincts and attacked each other savagely, using anything at their disposal: stones, fists, and teeth. Raising the number of human casualties, Earth's population dwindling in comparison to the spectating visitors. The charcoaled battlegrounds sprouted rivers of blood, and hills of corpses became mounds of which the soldiers trekked over. Then something unexpected occurred. The Negumacs and the Mazarecs, locked in their separate camps, suddenly ceased their hostilities. Confusion spread among the sparse human combatants as they watched the two alien races converge in the center of the battlefield. The Negumak leader stepped forward, his metallic form gleaming in the moonlight. His voice echoed with an otherworldly resonance as he addressed both human factions. "I thank you all for your hard battles. Our sensors show there is no longer enough of you to push back on our plans," the Negumak's leader declared. The Mazareks joined in. "Choice was an illusion, humans. We belong to the same race and you will serve our every whim from now on, or you can continue to run your species into the grave. But no, your days are numbered," he declared, his words carrying an air of finality. The humans, gripped by uncertainty and fear, watched in powerless resignation as the truth unfolded before their eyes. The Negumaks and the Mazareks were not separate entities at all, but co-conspirators. They were different facets of the same sinister plan, a grand deception designed to divide and conquer humanity. The aliens revealed their true forms, shedding the illusions that had fooled the humans into thinking they had a choice. They were united, their alliance stronger than ever as they set their sights on the conquest of Earth. The revelation struck the divided human forces like a thunderbolt. The factions, once at odds, now faced a common enemy, a formidable foe they had underestimated. The battlefield became a one-sided genocide, with humans as the victims. A great many survivors sought refuge within a group of resistance, those with a third choice, the choice of not falling for such tantalizing offers. The many slain in the genocide would be used as fuel to rekindle humanity's resolve towards survival. Dr. Basque, with a renewed sense of purpose, stepped forward to address her fellow humans. Her voice carried a mixture of urgency and determination. "Listen to me," she pleaded. "You may not know me, but I am the daughter of Dr. Basque, the man that brought to light the message from the stars. The Negumaks and the Mazareks have deceived us all. Our division was their ultimate weapon, but we cannot allow ourselves to be conquered today. We must unite now more than ever, for in our unity we'll find strength, and in our strength they'll regret the day they ever touched down on our planet. Let them hear us today, for we will not back down." Her words resonated deeply within the hearts of those who had fought on opposing sides. The remaining human combatants raised their weapons in favor, their eyes meeting in a shared realization. They had been pawns in a grand scheme, their differences exploited to weaken them. But in that moment, they saw beyond their divisions and recognized the true threat that loomed before them. United as one, the humans prepared for their final resistance against the Negumaks and the Mazareks. The battlefield had been set once more. A scene of internecine conflict became a stage for a united front, a testament to the strength of humanity when it stood together. With Dr. Basque at the helm, the humans devised a strategy to counter the alien forces. Their knowledge and power, once seen as separate entities, were now combined into a formidable force. The once divided human factions fought side by side, their determination unyielding. The battle raged on, with the humans refusing to falter in the face of overwhelming odds. Their unity and newfound purpose infused every strike, every maneuver, as they fought for their shared existence. After the fog of war ceased, the outcome was clear. The Negumaks and the Mazareks laid victorious in their newly conquered planet. The humans laid humbled. With numbers already low, the aliens rightfully projected an inability for a successful retaliation. Half the remaining population were given to the Negumaks and the other to Mazareks. Humanity had lost the battle, but maybe not the war. A few soldiers that hadn't taken a side in the Great War escorted Dr. Basque to humanity's last trump card. Dr. Basque had once been recruited by the Americans to create a temporal slingshot. Her work had been scrubbed from any ledgers or books, leaving no trace of her work other than a building used to disguise the secret experiments. In a crevice of a New York suburb, under the guise of a psych ward, her experiments had yielded gruesome results. When the slingshot was activated, it resulted in the patient being transformed into a ferocious pale being, unable to tolerate the slightest bit of sunlight or moonlight. The failed experiments were kept above, but below the building, behind a thick vault, the temporal machine lay in waiting. As they arrived at the site, they donned on special suits to keep the radiation at bay, but only for a couple hours. If they failed their mission, it wouldn't matter anyway. Humanity had already lost. The building had been made of reinforced metal to keep the patients in, but nonetheless the bomb had collapsed the building, but as luck would have it, there was a hole at the entrance that led deeper into the facilities. Dr. Basque and company made their way to the vault. To their surprise, the vault door lay open. "How could this be?" a soldier said as he began to push the door wider. "The force from the bomb may have jolted the door open," said Dr. Basque. As the door grew wider, to her horror, the entire facility was on. "Oh no!" exclaimed Dr. Basque. "I fear the bomb may have not only opened the door, but the radial heat may have also overcharged the thermal batteries." "And?" asked one of the generals. "The computers are on and the lab is powered, isn't that good?" "The batteries being overcharged means that the energy from their thermal batteries was so great it may have annihilated any electrical resistors meant to keep something like this from happening. The temporal machine may have been turned on to keep itself from imploding. The slingshot is blown," Dr. Erica Basque explained. "Do you see this alarm? The slingshot sent living organic matter into the time stream months ago." She hung her head down and sighed in defeat. "Gentlemen, we can only hope whatever was sent back is the key to stopping humanity's massacre."